Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Je m'appelle Michaela. Ceci est mon deuxième video. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video, and I've been focusing more on the cognitive process of learning language, so what goes into studying it in the brain. But now I'm back on track with learning French, and I've been going through verbs, so the verb to want, voulair, which is je veux, tu veux, il veut, nous voulons, vous voulez, ils voulons, which is important in order to ask questions or say what you want. Je veux du pain, I want bread. Another way is I've been going through questions. And questions are a really important part of French because when you're asking for things, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. So there's this thing in French called an inversion, where there are multiple different ways of asking questions. So the first one is when a verb appears before its pronoun, you connect it by a hyphen. So an example of that is boit-il. So if you were to say he drinks, it's il boit. But if you want to ask a question, you say boit-il and connect it by a hyphen, which just means does he drink? Boivent-ils du lait? Do they drink? Then a second way of learning the inversions is if a subject of a sentence is a noun, it appears before the verb. So le lait est il froid. Le lait is the subject of the sentence, and it's a noun, which means it's going to go before the verb. So le lait est il froid, and the pronoun is still il is still after the verb, which I guess seems common in French, and it's important which order you put things in, or else it means different things. Let's see. Another way is if verbs end in a vowel, the letter T is inserted. It's called a euphony. So the word parle, P-A-R-L-E, it ends in a vowel. So if you want to say she talks or is she talking, you have to insert a T. So you go parle-t-elle instead of parle-elle, just to make it more fluent. So parle-t-elle anglais? Does she speak English? And then a-t-il un chien? Does he have a dog? Let's see. A formal way of talking, or a formal way of asking questions, is est-ce que, where I guess you learn that more in a classroom setting, asking questions back and forth, especially with your professor. But I guess in normal conversation in French, you wouldn't use it as much. But just for the heck of it, we're going to learn it anyway. Est-ce qu'il boit? Does he drink? Est-ce que c'est un problème? Is it a problem? Est-ce qu'il a un chien? Does he have a dog? So those are just formal ways. But if you were talking with friends, it's kind of like in English where if you were to ask a question, so like, is he drinking? You basically take he drinking, or he drinks, and you raise your intonation. So il boit is he drinks, and then you say il boit for is he drinking? And you can do that for almost any word. And that would be a less formal way of doing something, more between friends. So il pleut, is it raining? And then, let's see. Another thing I've been learning is the word what. So it's quel, which you take the singular, plural, masculine, feminine. It all sounds the same. So it's quel, 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 quel. But it's all spelled differently. So when you're writing, it actually matters which one you use, just to match it to the noun that you're describing or whatever. So quelle fille, which girl? Quel est le problème? What is the problem? And if you were to have like an exclamation, which in French you would say like quelle chance, it means oh, what luck, or wow, that's awesome. Interrogative pronouns. There are lots of different ones, but the main one is lequel, where it's basically taking quel that we just learned, and you take quel and the noun, and you replace those two by lequel. So quel cheval means which horse, but if you want to say which one, you say lequel, which one. Quels hommes manger, which men eat. Lequel manger, which ones eat. And I think that's just an easier way sometimes to say it than having to repeat the subject of your sentence every time you're talking. So quelle robe est rose, which dress is pink. Lequel est rose, which one is pink. Then quelle lettre, which letters, and you can just say lequel, which ones, and that's plural, which is different than the first one we did. Another pronoun is qui, and it's actually the only pronoun that can start at the beginning of a sentence. So if you want to say, who is speaking, you say qui parle. Who are you? Qui es-tu? And what is he making? Que fait-il? After prepositions. So you can use qui, but you actually have to change it. And it then sounds like quoi. So, le problème est quoi? What is the problem? Or, à quoi pensez-vous? Which is, what are you thinking about? The last thing we're going to learn about is interrogative adverbs. So like, pourquoi? Why? Pourquoi manger du pain? Why are you eating bread? Comment? Comment allez-vous? How are you? Quand, which is when. So, quand est-ce que tu vas manger? When are you going to eat? Combien? How many? Combien d'eau? Combien du pain? How many waters? How much water? How much bread? Which you have to use that a lot. And then où, which is where. So, où suis-je? Which is where am I? Or où est le toilette? Which is something you say actually a lot in France. Où est le toilette? You have to ask where the bathroom is. So yeah, that concludes my second video, and hopefully this was helpful. Thanks.